Hey there, friends, it's Walt. So I told myself a story last week that wasn't true. We set out to do an audacious project, Ann and me. We set out to run across the Grand Canyon from the South Rim to the North Rim and back again. And it's a little bit of a crazy project. It's about 35, 38 miles. It goes from the South Rim down 5,000 vertical feet to the Colorado River and across the river and through Phantom Ranch and then up the North Rim basin to the North Rim, and that's about 14 miles, and then back again to the river and then back up the 5,000 feet. So all told, 35, 38 miles and about 20,000 vertical feet of elevation gain. And we were out early. We went out around 3 o'clock in the morning. It was about 15 degrees. It was dark. And we were out for 13 and a half, 14 hours. And we had come back to Phantom Ranch, which is at the Colorado River, after being up in the North Basin. And we were exhausted. And my feet were simply trashed. I had like massive blisters on my feet. And I looked up to the North Rim, some 5,000 feet above me, and I said to myself, I can't do that. I can't do that. And of course, at that juncture in time, what are you going to do? Lay down next to the Colorado River and just, become a part of the landscape? So we dressed up the blisters and started trotting up the trail toward the South Rim. And about halfway, there is a aptly named flat spot on the trail called Skeleton Point. And we both sat down at that point. We had been out hours and hours and hours and had done miles and miles of difficult terrain. And we just looked at each other like, how can we possibly do this? We can't do this. We're done. And what choice did we have at that point? Darkness was going to come on. Nightfall was going to come on. There was nobody there with a helicopter. So we did what we set out to do, which was to finish the project, to get back to the South Rim. And that story of I can't go on, I can't do it, is this pernicious story that crops up not only in crazy runs like back and forth across the Grand Canyon, but it shows up in other areas. It shows up in our business lives, in our careers, in our desire to create a product or a program or to write a book. I can't do that. I can't possibly do that. And I love that old adage by Henry Ford. You can say that you can or you can't. Whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. So that story that you tell, which is often a lie, is not true. I've learned over and over again in the adventures that we've done, particularly in the ultra distance races that we've done, that long after our bodies are finished, long after we physically feel like we can't, long after we are actually mentally spent, there is so much more there. We have so many more reserves. We have so much more that we're not tapping into. And the logical mind that tries to talk us out of pushing forward to those goals that matter, wow, if we listen to that voice, that we can't, we stop, and often stop just short of our goals. And oftentimes, if we can just push on that beyond that pernicious voice that says we can't, we can achieve those things that matter so much to us. And the truth is, we all get tired. We all get worn out. We all have unhealed trauma. We all have more work to do on ourselves. We all have more education and certification and learning that we can engage in. And please God that we always engage in that. Please God that we're always on that journey to self-improvement. But those are not conditions preceding to doing the work, to pushing forward to the goal. If you're listening to this video, you have gifts and talents that only you can share with the world. You have people who need you, who are waiting for you, who need what you have for the world right now, not when you've done all of your inner work or healed all of your inner demons, not when you've got the next certification or the next training, but now. Your people need you now. They can't wait for you. And they can't wait for you to resolve the stories of whether you can or you can't. What I know for sure is we are capable of so much more than we believe we can do. You can do it. You can. Believe. And get out there in the world and do the work. Make it a great rest of the day, great rest of the week. Talk soon.